So, Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Mateusz Gamrot obviously coming over what's a somewhat controversial, I think, win over Arman Tsarukyan, and going up against Beneil Dariush, who's riding an impressive win streak of his own, right? I think the favorites on this card, I think that when you look at every single underdog, they're very tempting, but I do think that the favorites for the most part are correct, with the exception of some. I don't know. But this was one where I feel the same way. I just feel like if you look at Gamrot and the way he dealt with the technical striking of Arman Tsarukyan, I think that Gamrot is a little bit faster. And I also think that his just technical wrestling is better than Beneil Dariush's. I think the striking, like, don't get me wrong, Beneil Dariush is fucking dangerous. He has power. He can strike with you. He uses his kicks and stuff well, right? Kind of has that like a little bit like hunched over style, but he has power on his punches. I just think Gamrot's going to be a little bit faster, and he's just going to be able to touch him just enough. But I really think that when they start getting into grappling exchanges, you're going to see that Gamrot's going to be able to fend off most of the attempts from Dariush, especially as the grappling transitions start to get extended. And I think that when Gamrot gets on the offensive with the wrestling, Dariush it's just going to feel like he's a step behind. I just think that Mateusz is going to be able to transition to things quicker, string things together a little bit better. And I think that he might get tagged with some big shots on the feet. That might be an advantage that Dariush has in this fight, is maybe his ability, because Gamrot dances around a little bit. He's okay with moving on the outside. The pressure of Dariush could be a problem. And maybe pushing this fight up against the cage early, beating him up with some knees and stuff would be a good game plan for Beneil Dariush. But I just think that movement and stuff is going to allow Gamrot to touch Beneil just enough. And when the grappling exchanges start to happen, I think that Gamrot will be able to defend, and then probably a lot of the times even be able to reverse into advantageous positions against Dariush. So go from where Beneil's on the offensive and Gamrot reverses it and then takes advantage. Now he's on the offensive. I think there's going to be a lot of that happening too. So for these reasons, I'm leaning Gamrot. I think it'll probably be a decision win for him. I don't see him finishing Dariush, but I just think that he's going to be able to control the fight. I really like I said, I like the speed of his transitions, and you can just tell that, in my opinion, in my estimation, he's a little bit more technical and a little bit more explosive. And once again, much like the last fight, a little bit more dynamic. So that's my thoughts.